The Zone Coverage Podcast Network. The Zone Coverage Podcast Network.
The Andy, Luke, and Arif football machine.
Autobots, transform! I like this kind of party!
Great cash, homie.
Starts now.
Live, fuck it.
We're recording.
We're doing live.
One of the greatest meltdowns ever.
Welcome back to Thunder Up. You know the Zone Coverage Football Machine on Zone Coverage Podcast Network. Almost as good as the Chris Berman one.
I think it's better. I think it's better.
I'm not so humble as Andy Carlson at Andy Carlson Show on the Twitter machine. I have equity, more equity than Mel Kiper would have if he was bald. You got to think how much product does he put in that salad?
Yeah.
But I mean,
you think he's got a hair
is it a
guy
write-off?
or a hair girl?
It's got to be a write-off.
Oh, it's a write-off. You just write it off.
Just write it off.
It's a good write-off, too.
Just write it
That's
off.
a good write-off.
Joe, as always, Arif and Luke and Tom work the board. What's up, guys?
What's up, man?
Hey.
Ready to finish the second round?
Just win, baby.
Damn.
Just win,
Straight.
baby.
Hour one, we did up 2-round mock draft. Next week, it'll be a 3-round. Spend 7 seconds per pick. We got. Start it. Right, we're good.
There's been 3 picks in the first round.
Yeah. But how's the break? What did you guys do? Did you travel?
I got into some Gardettos. I got into some Ritz Bits, cheesy. I stole some of Reef's Cheetos.
Yeah, evidently the first time he's ever had Cheetos is what it
They're
sounded
really
like.
good.
Yeah, because how that conversation goes. These are these any good?
Yeah, he fell for it.
Yeah. They're Cheetos.
And he goes, what? They're Cheetos.
Now, what is that? It's like an off-brand mix, but it's got like the Cheetos and the Sun Chips and the
talking
pretzels
about.
and stuff.
Yep.
That's great.
That's phenomenal.
That stuff's good.
Yeah.
They didn't have those in the vending machine.
They didn't have those back in the
you couldn't
day.
even get the thing you wanted out of that vending machine.
The thing you wanted.
Well, the thing I wanted, but you couldn't get it out.
Yeah, they wouldn't let me pick the. When I picked it, it was like 50. Every time I did it, it was like, you have $1. And I was like, well, yeah, I put it in the machine.
The next person who tries to order that gets 10.
Probably.
Yeah.
I'll be right back.
Yeah. I was like, it's probably Luke.
That's kind of how it goes. I feel like, all right, so Gardettos. I know in the Gardetto mix, I like the sesame things.
Yep.
I like the long things.
Yep. You like the rye chips?
Yeah. Oh, the rye chips are the best.
There's bags of just rye chips out there.
I was hopping to that, but like when you get the bag of rye chips, like it's too much. Like,
Well, you get both bags and then you put them all together in one bowl.
ooh,
Yeah.
I like the way they. But
So you
it's
can
like
just double the
Right.
rye
The rye
chip
chip
density.
ratio.
Yeah.
it's like you can't appreciate the rye chips unless you have all the other crap.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a balance. No, they all have to play, a roll off each other, and they work really
Honestly,
well, I think.
I don't
Great
really like
chemistry.
the rye chips that much.
Ooh.
Sorry,
Have you ever
guys.
had the honey mustard or the mustard Gardettos?
No.
Oh, man, clutch.
Very clutch.
Yeah. Do you remember when ESPN had that ad campaign? It was like 5 years ago, like ESPN Radio. So clutch. Watching sports at your mother-in-law's funeral. So clutch.
I remember that.
What?
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Whoa,
It
whoa,
wasn't that
Lois,
level, but
whoa,
it was like
whoa,
some
whoa.
jabroni. Like it was like pre-Barstool. It was like, oh yeah, watching sports when you should be doing other social obligations. So clutch.
Yeah.
But who did the voice?
I don't know.
Morgan Freeman.
So close.
Speaking of voice, so James Earl Jones was on Dan Patrick. I already derailed the show. I don't care.
Right.
We're gone.
And Dan was like, since we have you here, why don't you say you're listening to the Dan Patrick Show? And then James Earl Jones was like,
That was a perfect James Earl Jones.
Mr. Patrick, I get paid a lot of money for that.
That's great. That's so good.
Such a baller line.
That's so
Arby's.
good.
It's in the beat. He just rips out the Arby's one.
So then he asks Johnny Manziel, or Manziel comes on next. He's like, I'll do it. And he's like, yeah.
All right, so we're in the middle of our 2-round mock draft. We got open phone lines. We got some tour questions as well. Let's get back to the mock. So, Luke, you are back on the clock at 43. You got the Patriots picking Niners part of the Garoppolo trade.
Yeah, they got a lot of ammo. 2 firsts, 2 seconds. just real quick, I took Jair Alexander for them. I love that pick as a third corner, maybe a second quarter if McCourty doesn't pan out. Got the Davenport coming back, and then what did they do? Okay, this is their first and the second. I'm going to go DJ Moore after the Brandon Cooks trade.
Perfect.
I love it. I love it.
I hate it.
Right.
It's perfect.
It's perfect.
DJ Moore, come on down. You're the next contestant to get traded right before you need to get paid. Number 44, Washington.
This is too easy.
The quarterback?
No, this is the cornerback. I'm going to take Mike Hughes.
Love it.
Yeah, I mean they lost a cornerback
Great
in a
pick.
trade. They get it back, and now they've got a good back end to help out with Alex Smith and them on offense, and them Josh Doxson,
Right.
them.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
Team Doxson.
Those guys. Yeah. All right.
Just type in Mike Hughes.
Mike Hughes.
Yeah, I'm going to find him here in a sec. Next up, Packers at 13. So they already have wide receiver help. They got Calvin Ridley in round 1. What are the Packers going to be in the market for?
They could get Rashaan Evans. He's still available, right?
Yeah, that'd be a great pick. Is he still available?
Is he? Find out. Yeah, I think so. No, he's not. He went.
Where did he go?
I picked him for the Saints.
Touche.
Yeah, that guy.
Malik Jefferson, maybe? Unless he's already gone.
How about Sony Michel?
Oh, that would be dirty.
Yeah, that would be.
That
That makes sense.
Yeah, screw it. We're doing it. We're having fun here. Sony Michel, come on down.
Wow, that is dirty.
Georgia.
They got Ridley and Michelle.
All the way up.
Bengals. What do we do with our first 2 picks? Bengals.
We got a tackle?
We took Connor?
Yeah, Connor Williams. Right here.
Connor, we
Number
just have
21.
one pick?
Yeah, I think so.
Touche.
Okay. All right.
All right. Okay, Mason Rudolph seems intriguing. Not going to do it, but seems intriguing.
Wouldn't that be fun? Not doing it.
Not doing it. Not going to do it.
Not gonna read my lips.
Not going to do it. How about Ronnie Harrison? Where are we at with that?
I like it.
They need a safety?
Safety, come on down.
Pull it.
Bengals. 47, Reef, Cardinals.
Cardinals. This is tough.
First round, they got Derwin.
Yeah. Let's see. They're re-signing DJ Humphries, right? Or they're bringing him back. That's not
Still
good.
can't have enough O linemen.
Yeah, let's get Tyrell Crosby.
Tyrell Crosby,
Like
the
it.
pride of Oregon. Come on up.
Cardinals seem like the
down.
team that's going to get screwed this draft because they're just outside these quarterbacks.
Yeah.
They're just outside some of the players they kind of need. And
We got a caller.
Yep. Hey, caller, who we got?
Did I podium at least tonight? Am I the first caller finally?
Yeah,
You are.
first call.
bum, 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 boom,
You made
bum.
it.
All right, it's been a while.
Yeah. What's going on, Steve?
Not much. How you guys doing tonight?
Good, man.
You guys sick of the snow like I am? I want spring and weather and 60 and sunny, but no.
What'd you expect?
I'd take 50, dude. That's where I'm at.
I would too. I'm going to Twins home opener tomorrow too. It's supposed to be 30 degrees for the high.
Woo! I don't
And
understand why
I'm
they
sitting
don't.
in the shade tomorrow too, so
don't-
that's gonna be a fun
Ooh,
game.
that is tough.
Anyway, I wanted to get to the top 30 prospects we kind of had this week. I want to run some names by you guys, see what you think. Well, first off, I love Justin Reed. I think I mentioned him last week on the show, but would you take him at 30? Yes or no?
It depends. Honestly, dude, it just depends who's there. I wouldn't be mad at the pick at all. I think he's a fun, intriguing, versatile player. I think he's worthy of a top 40 pick. It's what I gave you your over-under.
Right, yeah.
You both said unders. You think he's a slam dunk first-round pick, baby.
Yeah.
End of
I
first
think
round.
he's good, and I think that is a good pick value for him. I think it is unlikely that would be a good move for the Vikings. It depends on who's available there. So if there's like this run on offensive lineman, right, and they pick him instead of defensive tackle, I totally understand it. I think he's good. And I think these defensive tackles, we've been talking them up a lot, but some of them are, I think they're getting to the point where some of them are kind of overrated. I think they've fallen down a little bit, and that kind of fits, but I'm not necessarily head over heels for any of the defensive tackles, except for, of course, Nathan Shepard in the second.
Right.
If they got Justin Reed, it would have to depend on who is available or on the board, and I could justify it. But I think it is unlikely that would be a good pick.
Well, Steve, I mean, same thing at you, Steve. Mike Hughes, I have rated a higher than him. Cornerback, similar position, depending on what you want him to play. Can play special teams, great kick returner. What would you think about Hughes sitting at 30? Because my thing has been the cornerback class is so deep. One or two of these big names are going to fall, whether it's Isaiah Oliver from Colorado, Mike Hughes, Josh Jackson. Jair, I don't know. What do you think about taking a corner at 30 outside of Justin Reed? Just the position.
Well, I like him because he can play safety and he's kind of versatile in the slot. So I would take him at 30.
He's a damn good player.
Yeah, I mean, I would take, unless Jay Reed falls to 30, but that's my dream pick. Unless we don't go all-line first pick.
Your dream pick,
I don't think he's going to fall that far, unfortunately. Now, I think he got too far up in the draft now.
Yeah, he might have.
You know, but unless it's him, I would just trade back. I'd try to get some extra picks and go all-line, probably the first pick, like in the mid-30s, if I could.
Right.
That's what I would do. That's what I would see right now. But I got two other names for you. So Holton Hill, the kid from Texas, defensive backs, kind of standing that. Where do you think he might go? Like maybe 4th or 5th round? Because I heard he's got some problems off the field. Obviously, I heard he's got some red flags and whatnot. But
that's probably why they brought him in, right? Is to talk to him about that. I think he's a really good player. I would see him going in the 4th round. I think is a pretty good place.
Okay,
loaded cornerback class.
Yeah, right.
Loaded.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised
in that category. Yeah,
it is.
I wouldn't be surprised if he goes in the 3rd. But I think again, I think that's unlikely.
Steve,
4th round makes a lot of sense.
Steve, I will tell you where he would go. He would go at number 39 to the Bears.
Okay. All right, I got one more. Kind of, I don't really know much about this guy. I don't even know a lot about him. His name is Jordan Lasley, the kid from UCLA. He's a wide receiver. Darren mentioned him on his Twitter today. I don't know much about him. Where do you think he might go? I heard that he's in the visit today too.
Dude, I'll be honest.
I don't know a lot about him.
I got nothing on it. I got nothing on him. I'll check him out. Maybe Arif can pull up some quick combine numbers or pro day numbers on him. I see him doing it right now. He might be able to pull up something. What do you got? Production value or anything?
Yeah, in terms of he's a really productive receiver. He accounted for a good chunk of UCLA's receiving yardage, which, I mean, considering the amount of skill talent that they've had, kind of go through that roster and considering who threw to them, I think that's probably a good sign. From the perspective of being an athlete, for the most part, he's average, and he's not upset with him. He's got pretty long arms, which is nice. He's kind of a bigger guy, which is nice. But, ran a 4.5.
All wide receiver.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Yeah.
He's a bigger wide receiver that ran a 4.5 40, which is pretty good, right? Because, Des Bryant ran a 4.5 and stuff like that. But nothing kind of out of the ordinary athletically. But the fact that he was a really good producer and accounted for a good chunk of his team's receiving yards, I think means it's worth kind of paying attention to him. I haven't watched him specifically, but if he was a good portion of the reason that passing offense functioned, that's definitely intriguing to me.
Yeah, well, Darren mentioned he was like the top target for Josh Rosen, which I still don't believe in that kid at all, but who knows? They obviously love him, but, I was just asking about him. I don't know much about him, too. I was curious about him, but anyway, to top it off, I would go Justin Reed at 30. If he's not there, trade back or, then try and get some extra picks, what I would do. So that'd be my take. Get Price if you can. Actually, sorry, I have one more question for you guys. I mentioned this to Andy yesterday. So how far would Nelson have to fall if we start trading up for him? What would you think there, Luke? Nelson, how far would he have to fall before we trade up for him? Would you consider it maybe?
Okay, I'm going to say this. I don't think he'll get past this run of Chicago at 8 and San Fran at 9. But if you're to get into the teen or the double digits somewhere, you still have to tell me that you're probably going to have to trade this year's first, next year's first, right?
Oh, yeah.
To move all the way up there and a second?
Maybe, yeah.
Or a fourth?
It'd be tough, right?
I just don't want to do that for one player. It's too much.
Well, especially because, I mean, there are a bunch of places the Vikings could go. They like to get 10 draft picks. They didn't get that last year. That'd be tough. But, I mean, if he falls past 16,
late teens?
Absolutely thinking about it.
I would do it for sure,
teens,
go get your guys, right?
I
would do it in a heartbeat. I would. He's the best thing in the I think he's the best guy in the draft, in my opinion. He is. Best guy in the draft. So, he can do it all. We'll see, though, right? Are you guys, so you going to be Winter Park then for the draft? Are you guys going to be there, or what's the deal?
Well, it's not Winter
Park
anymore.
We'll be at the new
right?
Winter Park.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. TCO. I'm sorry. TCO. I meant. Still in my head. Sorry.
No worries.
Are you guys going to be there?
That's the plan, baby.
All right, sounds good, guys. Maybe I'll buy you a beer tonight too, Andy. You actually helped me Doogie the other day too. I appreciate that too, by the way. Thanks, Andy.
See you, Steve.
All right, guys. Take care.
All right, take care, man. See ya.
One more caller. Soon.
Hey, caller, who we got?
Tough to follow that. Brings the heat.
Caller. I don't know. We're having computer issues.
Hola.
So I found three
Might
people
be
that
producer issues.
What is this?
That's him. That's him.
Well, click on it.
Answer it.
It's just showing up. This computer's slow.
Hey,
There we
caller,
go.
who we got?
Oh, you're way early, dude. This is a 95 Windows.
Hey, caller, who we got?
It's Michael.
Hey, Michael.
Hey, Michael.
What's going on, man?
What's up, Michael?
Oh, it's all good. So my question is, obviously today we had some draft prospects visit the Vikings.
Mm-hmm.
My question is, how many of those the people who visited the Vikings today are actually going to end up being drafted by the Vikings?
Oh, it can't be more than like 5.
Right.
Like,
That'd be the most. I mean, a lot of these are third, fourth, fifth, sixth round guys, and I love the names on here, Michael. I hope they get 2 or 3 of them. But I was saying, every year you look at the 30. First of all, you usually don't recognize more than maybe 12 or 15. More than half. I recognize a lot of these names. I think there's some great targets in those mid rounds. But if we got 2 or 3 of these guys, I'd be super happy.
You could construct a pretty good draft out of this, right? So Connor Williams maybe in the first, right? And then you could get Nathan Shepard in the second, Nyheim Hines in the third. In the fifth, you might be able to get Holton Hill.
I'd say, even Ragnow Pettis in the third, maybe Hines in the fourth, whatever.
I got a fourth, man. But yeah, you can construct a pretty good draft out of these guys. It's pretty unlikely that they're only going to draft from this pool of 30. But I wouldn't be surprised if they ended up getting 2 or 3 of them. And, hey, if someone like Kamoka Ture, maybe his injury issues force him to fall sort of all the way out of the draft.
Oh,
that would, he'd be a target free agent. Jake Weineke, kind of same thing. It does let you get sort of like a read on some of these guys. Who's this guy from, was it Wesleyan? Wesley? I have no idea who this guy is.
Ohio Wesleyan? That's cool.
Maybe. It says Wesley here on Luke's document.
Wesleyan Crusher.
But that would not be a great draft pick. Matt Gono? Apparently
gonads?
Question mark?
That's the kind
Never
of guy
heard of
that, maybe he's an undrafted free agent. I don't know, maybe he's a third-round pick and I just haven't heard of him.
Right.
But, some of these guys might go undrafted. Jeff Badet from Oklahoma, only accounted for 8% of his team's receiving yards at Oklahoma, where they...
But the combine, the 40 number.
Yeah, but his 40 number at the pro day, ostensibly something like a 4.22. It's been recorded as a 4.34. He could be a kick returner that you get undrafted too. So maybe 2 or 3 of these guys get drafted. Maybe 1 or 2 of these guys end up being undrafted free agents for the Vikings. But that's kind of where you are.
That sounds pretty good. And I guess is it more likely now that they draft a DB or like a lineman in the first round, because they seem like it's either or, right?
Well, yeah, I could see I could see an offensive lineman or a defensive back. I think it's more likely to get an offensive lineman, just because that strikes me as a more important need and a more difficult one to get early. Just because Luke and I were talking about this, the cornerback depth in this draft is just amazing, and so you probably want to wait a little bit on that. But yeah, that seems likely. I wouldn't be surprised if they ended up getting a defensive lineman, because they only do have Sheldon Richardson on a 1-year deal. And if you can, crack down on that, if you can make sure that you've got your defensive lineman in the future, you don't have to worry about the contract crunch that extending someone like Sheldon Richardson would bring. So I could see that happening. There is the remote possibility of, I think, other positions, a linebacker to take over long term for someone like Kendricks if he has to leave in free agency or something like that. But I think most likely it's an offensive lineman, maybe a cornerback, and then beyond that, you can kind of see, a receiver to offset the potential Stephon Diggs contract demands, or a linebacker or something. But, those 2 are kind of the areas that I would look at. Then maybe defensive tackle, and then kind of those other areas.
All right. Thanks, guys.
All right, man. Thanks for
Michael.
the call.
All right.
Yeah,
How wild would that be, though, if they went kind of
I think
off chart and went with a wide receiver or a linebacker?
I think
Wild
that
card,
could
bitches.
happen, man. I think that something like that could happen in the first round. He goes BPA. I think he doesn't necessarily get to the draft and go, all right, I'm going to value my 4th or 5th offensive lineman in the first round. Goes defense. Still a big position of need, right?
Yep.
I mean, you still need a defensive tackle, right?
Well, yeah,
Sheldon's a free agent
a
next
defensive
year.
tackle makes sense to me, but if they went cause those 3 positions make a ton of sense, right?
Sure.
Offensive line, defensive line,
Yeah, I don't think they'll go
cornerback.
receiver.
But if they go anywhere else, that's just weird. Like if they get a receiver or a linebacker, you're just like, what's happening?
tight end, Kaseki.
Yeah, that would make a little bit of sense.
Caller, who we got?
Hey, guys. How you doing? It's Toast from Chicago.
Tosin.
Hey.
What's going on, man?
Hey, what's going on, guys? Hey, random question. So, you saw the Patriots trade Brandon Cooks yesterday, right?
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think their plan is? And if you're the Patriots, will
they're not a team that trades up all that often. So a lot of people are talking about potentially packaging. They got like 5 picks in the top 95. Potentially packaging a lot of these picks to move up and select a quarterback. I think that's pretty unlikely. If a quarterback like falls down to 2022, maybe they'll trade up. But I think they'll just pick guys. I don't think it's that unlikely that they just like some of the positions in the draft. They need edge guys. That's a very thin position group. They got 2 guys at the top that people love, some guys kind of in the middle that maybe people don't love as much.
I mean, low key, Belichick's bad at drafting.
I think that used to be true. I think if you take a look at more recent drafts, he's turned out pretty well. Like I think, for example, Donta Hightower, Jamie Collins, Devin McCourty,
Aaron Dobson.
Dobson wasn't great, but he's like a 4th round pick, right?
Well, who's the second round wide receiver I'm thinking about?
I don't know.
Chad Jackson,
Florida. Yeah, right. That was a while ago. But they've had some good picks. Their second round picks overall have been really good. I wouldn't be surprised if they just picked people like. They could use someone to replace Malcolm Butler, and I don't think the other McCourty is going to quite do that.
Right.
They could get another edge player. They could get another offensive lineman. I don't know that there necessarily has to be like this huge plan in the works. Of course, as soon as I say that, I'm sure we're going to see the news that they've traded all 5 of those
seriously,
picks.
it's weird. I think they're not done trading. I think they're going to trade Gronk too.
Do you think they're going to trade
Gronk? Wow. Trade into the Falcons or something.
So if they trade Gronk, that feels like there is a plan in place then, right? Because then they've got like probably 6 picks in the top 95, right?
Go get your Goddard.
And then they trade up, right? Like they never trade up. They always trade down because the efficiencies are always there. But you've got all of these draft picks. You trade up, right?
They trade up for Goddard and Gesicki, and they have that famous 2 tight end set again, and then one of them become murder.
Which ones?
Or one of them is already a murder.
Call your shot.
Call your shot.
Penn State. I get you.
Is it slander or let? No, I'm just kidding. All right. Hey, good stuff, Tosin.
All right, man. Have a good one.
Yeah, I've been hearing a little bit about this trading Gronk stuff, and I've been talking about how much he could go for, right? Because a lot of people are like, well, it's Gronk. He's the best tight end in the history of tight ends. You could go for a 1.
Oh, for sure, but
his back issues, maybe he wants to
retires.
retire.
WWE,
right?
He wants to be healthy for pro wrestling,
right? He's somehow stood out as a weird locker room personality in like the tamest locker room in the NFL. So I wouldn't be surprised if we went for a second just because of his age, his back issues, and looming retirement or whatever.
Only the Patriots could get that career out of a second-round pick and then trade him back for a second-round pick.
I mean, the only reason he fell to the
that's
second round is
crazy.
because of those back issues, right?
True.
He definitely would have gotten the first.
I think so. Caller? Maybe not.
So I talked over him.
There we go. There he is.
Speak.
Okay,
of the
so
devil.
my thing is, though, just real quick with Gronk, is that basically tells Tom Brady that we're out this year. We're not all in, right?
Yep. Hey,
But
caller.
then they draft Gesicki and DJ Moore. And
Hey, caller, who we got?
Hey, this is Nick from St. Paul.
Hey,
Nick,
man.
St. Paul. What's going on, man?
Hey, I have a couple draft questions for you guys.
Yeah.
I saw the Vikings were very interested in Lorenzo Carter.
I hope so.
And I was wondering if he was projected more as a defensive end, or maybe the Vikings would want to use him in the Anthony Barr role, since they're pretty similar in terms of measurables, at least.
well, he only played at the edge position at Georgia, right? Which, I mean, that's what Anthony Barr did at UCLA.
Yeah, how's Lorenzo Carter's running back game?
I bet it's pretty good. The issue is, unless his pro day numbers are out or something, and I haven't seen them, one of the things that's kind of exciting about Anthony Barr is that he's not just a good straight line athlete running the 4.4 at his pro day at 250 pounds. It's that he was good at everything. He was super fluid. So it looks like Lorenzo Carter didn't work out at his pro day.
So no 3-cone is what you're looking for, right?
I was looking for the 3-cone. Insanely explosive, right? So, 130-inch broad jump, just incredible. I don't know that unless you can get some understanding of how fluid he is coming off the edge, whatever. I don't know that there's a ton of instances where you can take a look at an edge player and be like, well, I wonder what he can do off the ball. Vic Beasley was one of the guys I was thinking about. Maybe he could do that.
Yeah.
I don't know that Lorenzo Carter's like that, and from what I hear, it takes him a little bit, just a half a second longer to kind of diagnose the play. And
process.
that's not really,
Yep.
and that's not really what you want as a guy who's converting to linebacker. But hey, they would know way more about that than me. I think that's definitely in play. We just mentioned this a couple calls ago, last call, that they could kind of go sort of wild card and draft a guy to replace one of our impending upcoming contracts, whether that's Anthony Barr or Eric Kendricks or Stephon Diggs.
Yeah.
Sheldon, obviously.
And then they'll tweet out like Captain when they draft a Mac. Try me.
No,
I'm just kidding. Welcome to the Vikings. We have a great organization. Blah, blah, blah.
He was tried. He lost. Came out ahead in the end, though.
Yeah. Got to go back home.
So I think it's possible that they're thinking about him as an off-ball convert. Really, I think, and they brought in Kemoko Toure as well. They brought in, I think, more than a couple of potential edge players. I think they're just kind of interested in the idea of who they can get that's really athletic in like the third or fourth round.
And he ran a 4.46?
Yeah, just at 250 pounds, just incredible.
Outstanding.
But maybe he's only a straight line athlete. Who knows? Right. But yeah, they've been getting athletes in the third or fourth round. Some of them work out, like Daniil Hunter. Some of them don't, like the Oregon State guy. What was his name? Scott Crichton.
First player.
So they've been getting a lot of super athletic edge players. Deshaun Bauer's a good example. Stephen Weatherly's a good example. And I wouldn't be surprised if they're just doing their due diligence. Players like Lorenzo Carter, who didn't do a full workout, or Kemoko Toure, who did like private workouts, and you don't have the numbers to.
Yeah, and I have one more question. The Vikings, at least, I'm not very familiar with how the process works exactly, but it seems like they've been doing a lot of interest in guys that will probably be their early second, maybe. And I think, how likely is it that they trade down? Because I know they brought in McGlinchey and Connor Williams. Those guys are probably going to be there.
And Dallas Goedert.
In the 20s.
Dallas Goedert, another guy. But no, I agree with you. Justin Reed's in that discussion. A lot of second, third round guys, but Mike Hughes, another late first round guy. I think they just want to be prepared. I think that kind of tells you, puts the writing on the wall. Two of them defensive backs and a defensive tackle and the positions that we're already talking about right now. So, I think they could definitely trade down. It just depends on who's there, but I think they could definitely trade down. The mock draft that we just did, I think Andy tweeted out the link. You can check it out. It was the dream scenarios. Maurice Hurst was on the board. Billy Price was on the board. Isaiah Wynn was on the board. I think you trade down in that situation or scenario.
Yeah, the scenario that we had, definitely the Vikings should trade down. Just because, and maybe the Eagles would have been the trade partner for that, just to get Darius Geis. But I think the Vikings are just doing, kind of making sure they've got sort of all of their I's dotted and T's crossed. Like you said, there's a ton of those guys that a lot of people, I think, rightly project them to go sort of top of the second, not quite bottom of the first, and that could signal that they're interested in trading down. But like you said, they also got guys that if they fall a little bit, Connor Williams, Mike McGlinchey,
whatever.
They'd be guys that they want to pick up. I think they're just making sure that they're fully aware of what their options look like in either scenario. I think it is not unlikely, right, that they'll trade down, but I don't think it's like in the bag or anything like that. Like I remember a couple of drafts ago. The Vikings, they have a stated goal of trying to get 10 picks. Everyone thought that meant that they were going to trade down out of the first. Maybe this was the Trey Waynes draft, trade down in the first or something, and they didn't do that. They just stood where they were and they picked a guy. Then they traded down in the second or third, and they got as many picks as they needed. So they can still pick a guy at 30 and still end up with 10 picks if they're really smart with how they manipulate the second and third round.
Yeah, that sounds right. All right, guys. Love the show.
Hey, appreciate it, man. Thanks for calling, dude.
All right. Ooh. Back to the mock.
Let's go.
I already had this locked and loaded. Mason
go.
Rudolph.
Done.
Chargers.
Good pick.
48.
He'll be gone by then, but
yeah.
I don't know where, but
I think Mason Rudolph is old enough to be one of Philip Rivers' kids.
Yes.
He's in that range. Gotta be. 49. Luke, you're back
Look
up
at what
with the
we've
Colts.
done already. We've taken Minka, James Daniels, and Isaiah Oliver. I'm going to go get the D tackle that we love now. You're just talking about him. I'm sorry. I'm trying to find him.
Nathan Shepard?
Nathan Shepard.
Nate. Dog.
Great Nate.
Great Nate. Nasty Nate.
Nathan Shepard.
Give me a cocktail.
Come on down. Pride of Fort Hays State. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I was going to say Grand Valley State, but
Think about that, though.
That's Charles Johnson.
Yeah, and also Marquette King.
Oh, yeah. Two weirdos.
James Daniels, Isaiah Oliver, Minka Fitzpatrick, and Nate Shepard. Colts, no matter what they do, they can do some damage.
They're going to be good to go. Yeah. Until luck gets hurt, you got Jabroni Brisket. Just run things.
Jacoby.
50. Cowboys, Arif.
This one's tough. I think they're probably okay with what they have at linebacker. They might want to get another one. But for the most part...
Filling for Sean Lee.
right. For the most part, they've got Jordan Lewis. They're probably going to let Byron Jones figure it out at safety. Maybe they could get another safety. Maybe they could get another corner. I think that makes the most sense. Let's see, what cornerback was I looking at before the last couple of calls? Oh, Carlton Davis, yeah. They could get Duke Dawson, Dante Jackson, or Carlton Davis. I would pick Carlton Davis here.
Carlton Davis, pride of Auburn. Come on up or come on over. Dallas. Close enough. 51, Lions, me on the board. So the Vikings finally got rid of defensive end Eric Ebron, so they're going to need some help at tight end.
Mark Andrews is there.
Kind of want to go Hayden Hurst, but I'm going to go with Mark Andrews, pride of Oklahoma. Come on up. You are the next target for Matthew Stafford. Caller, who we got?
Hey, it's Alex from Chicago.
Alex, Chicago. What's going on?
How you guys doing?
Good, man.
Yeah, doing all right, man.
Nice. So my question was about the Vikings and possibly taking a guard round one. I know we've talked about this so much, but we talked previously about how it's just not in Rick's DNA to take a guard early, but with guard being really the Vikings' biggest and one of their only big needs, do you think that I just feel like he just can't pass up a guard round one? How do you guys feel about that?
I think he won't. I think he will pass up on a guard. I think he knows he can get a good interior. Think about it. We're on the 4th O-line and 5th O-lineman here, and he did a good job rebuilding last year. Now we're only talking about the second round. It's not that far of a fall now to grab an Austin Corbett or somebody like that from Nevada. Somebody will still be there. It's not about this is their only need this year. They always look about next year too, with all those pending free agents. And if they draft a linebacker or corner or defensive tackle, maybe the writing's on the wall there a little bit that they don't plan on re-signing Eric Kendricks or Anthony Barr. Or, if Sheldon Richardson doesn't work out, they got to have a backup plan. Or maybe they don't love Mac Alexander in the slot. Or maybe they don't want to pay Trey Waynes $13 million.
Trey Waynes.
His 5th-year option. So
but he's
I think he's going to pass, dude. I think he might. Unless like an Isaiah Wins there, I think he might pass.
Yeah, I think it's worth thinking about.
Or at least don't be surprised, that's all.
Yeah, I think it's worth thinking about in terms of like his history. For a long time, he hadn't selected a single interior offensive lineman, before the 5th round, and then he got Willie Beavers in the 4th round, Pat Elflein in the 3rd round. I think maybe, you could say that he's beginning to kind of learn his lesson because for as many times as you thought, hey, maybe Brandon Fusco is a hit, Joe Berger, not drafted by the Vikings, but, like a 6th-round pick, Sully, Matt Burke, as many times as those guys were hits, the Vikings have taken a lot of shots in the late rounds at guards, like, Jeff Baca, Travis Bond, people that really haven't worked out. And I think they did it on Danny Isidora, who I think is a fine-looking backup, but I don't think could start. I think at this point, they might just that's fair. They might just be like, you know what? There's not a ton of needs. We got stuff we need to take care of next year. We'll take care of it next year. Let's just get this guy that can help our team win now because we've invested so much money in this year. Sheldon Richardson's a good example. They've invested a ton of money this year and only this year to help get a Super Bowl. Kirk Cousins, is a good indication that they might think that the window is short.
It's not getting any younger.
So they might just go, let's identify our biggest needs and go after them. So I think it is more likely than ever that they'll pick one of those interior offensive linemen, even though that's not really what they've done in the past.
Right. Yeah, I totally agree. With the offensive line in the draft, I think it's you kind of get what you pay for. And I know a lot of people feel the same as me, and I'm sick of seeing that late-round flyer and it just never working out besides whatever.
Sully and Fusco, baby.
But it happened once, so it has to happen again.
You usually get what you pay for. I agree. And I was the guy 3 months ago saying, I want that 2015 Dallas Cowboys type of O-line. And go use some early picks on it. I was, and now I'm changing my tune a little bit. I could change my tune back before the draft, but
he's bored.
Darcy's bored. I think that Billy Price, don't be surprised there either, but I think the first round, I think he goes defense.
your mock tonight kind of opened my eyes with that new Patriots trade. The Patriots, they have some ammo to do some damage now.
Colts are going to be the funnest to watch, but I think the Patriots are second best team, or a team that I'm going to keep an eye on because they can do some serious damage there for sure. Jets were the team to watch out for, and then they traded them all to the Colts.
Right. So, yeah, the Patriots, they got Davenport, DJ Moore, and who else?
Jair Alexander. And they got another pick coming up. And they got another pick coming up.
Wow.
It's not terrible.
GYG, dude.
Yeah.
It ain't bad.
GYG. Did you guys see what's going on Bears Twitter tonight? So everyone's freaking out because Jordan Howard deleted all of his Bears
I did see that
stuff off of it.
It's a tradition unlike any other.
Hidden message.
But it's not the same thing as like Teddy or Adrian Peterson like deleting their header on Twitter. They had to go out of their way to delete all of the Bears stuff on their Instagram. Like that takes a little bit of work, right? That's interesting. I think that's way different than changing a Twitter header or Twitter bio or something.
So they're in on Geis, is what you're telling me.
Yeah, that's got to be it. I don't know what this would mean, though, right? Like, are they trading him? What would they trade him for? Who wants him?
I don't know.
In a rich running back class, who would trade for him? They're not cutting him.
Hot running back market. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think he'd be worth? A second?
No, not with this class of running backs. Because, I mean, why trade for Jordan Howard when you could
just draft the guy?
Yeah, potentially get Ronald Jones, who, I mean, I think Jordan Howard's fine, but, I mean, Ronald Jones, Nick Chubb, Sony Michel, like, guys that you really think that, could help out a team much more than Jordan Howard. I don't know why you trade a second. But it's like, if I'm the Bears, I don't want to give him up for a third. That's weird.
Running backs are the ultimate grand opening, grand closing. Like, remember, 3 years ago, Doug Martin was good?
Yeah.
It was, really good.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Gruden destroyed us on Thursday Night Football.
Frank Gore? Is Frank Gore still employed?
I think he's employed.
Dolphins.
I don't know if that means anything.
Dolphins.
Oh, yeah, he's back at his old college stomping ground.
That's right. Miami. Yeah.
Hey, Alex, appreciate you calling in, man.
All right. Later, guys.
See ya.
One more.
Yeah.
Maybe he's gone.
Guys like Pantera. Hey, caller, who we got?
Of course I like Pantera.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Wyatt from Texas.
What's up, Wyatt?
Yeah.
Wyatt's got the puppy. Wyatt's got the puppy going on, man.
Dude, he's actually sitting here yelling at me right now.
I knew it. Do you have your shirt on or off?
Luke.
Be honest, dude.
Luke's a little turned on.
Hey, listen.
He's from Texas, dude.
That's for the ladies.
All right. Well, okay. All right. That's a different. What
are you wearing, man?
That's a 1-900 number. I'm sorry. That's right.
What you got?
What's going on, dude?
Well, all right, so I had a couple questions for you guys, man. It's been forever. I've been just chock full of questions.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you think the Kirk Cousins thing, this is my biggest one, takes us out of the running if Lamar Jackson is sitting there at 30?
Jackson's sitting there at 30.
Goodness.
God, it's one of those. What would I do and what I think would happen? I would pull the trigger for sure, dude. I don't think Lamar's going to get out of that top 15. I really don't, past the Cardinals and Miami and all those other teams. But
Bills,
he's sitting there at 30. Yes, I think pull the trigger. I don't think they will though.
I think that'd be a prime trade down spot.
That would be a phenomenal trade down spot.
That could haunt you though. That could haunt you for years, dude.
But could it? Cousins is fully guaranteed.
Yeah.
The first fully guaranteed for 3 years.
It's like Rodgers plus. Like he ain't getting off the bench till year 4.
If
minimum.
Cousins isn't working out for you, guess what you get? Higher draft picks. Like I think you can probably prep later on if Cousins isn't working out, and you're stuck with him. So I think it is unlikely that they would get Lamar Jackson there, but I bet they would trade the hell out of that pick. If Lamar Jackson is there, that likely means that a team that was in like the top 6 that wants a quarterback didn't get one, right? Because that pushes quarterbacks down the board, that pushes Lamar Jackson down the board. And so in that scenario, then you've got teams at the top of the second that might want Lamar Jackson. Maybe, teams that need insurance like the Colts. Maybe a team like the Broncos that, they really like, Chubb or whoever at the top and they grabbed him instead. I bet that there's a team in the top 6 or 8 picks of the second round that they see Lamar Jackson hanging out at 30, they'd be totally willing to talk to the Vikings. And I bet that that's a smarter move for the Vikings to get someone that can help them out, pretty quickly. And then they can, and if it's not working out, then they'll have a better draft pick next year to grab someone. Maybe not someone as dynamic as Lamar Jackson. Maybe the next 2 years the drafts are just going to be just crap for quarterbacks. But I think that's a better chance to take, given that you wouldn't have Lamar Jackson until his fourth year.
Do you want Lamar?
Oh yeah. I'd bang the table for Lamar.
Yeah.
I think this is a perfect situation for him in Minnesota because I don't think he needs to come in and start day one. I think he needs to kind of pick up the speed of the NFL, and he could come in, sit behind Kirk Cousins, and he would have a good 2 or 3 years. I mean, it could be a Jimmy Garoppolo situation, to where you have a star under your belt, and even if you stick with Kirk Cousins, you can go trade Lamar.
Great problem
he's going
to
be
have.
An interesting prospect. So he's going to pay off either way. I mean, it would kill me to watch the Vikings just completely whiff on it and say, you know what, we're going to trade back. I mean, it makes sense. I understand the trade back.
Right.
I understand that we only have 7 picks this year or something of that nature. Like that, we need the picks. I understand it, but like that.
But it's not fun. It's depressing. It's depressing to think about for sure. I get it, but I think he'll be long gone. So I don't think you've got him.
So you've got him for 3 years, right? So before his fourth year, where Kirk Cousins' contract has expired, maybe you've extended it, maybe you haven't, which that would be interesting. Yeah. You have to decide on his fifth-year option, like before he's taken the field. That's
right.
It. Yeah,
right. And that, I mean, like I said, that makes sense, and it does kind of when we signed Kirk Cousins, I'm pumped about Kirk Cousins. Obviously, the best situation he could possibly be in, I think, in the entire NFL. To a quarterback-needed team, clearly went to the best situation. Guy can put up 4,000 passing yards a season. Don't take away that I'm definitely excited to have Kirk Cousins. That's great, but Lamar
could be special.
I truly think if he could get his accuracy down, and there are arguments that he has it, and there's arguments that he doesn't, and that it needs a little work, sure. But I think you could have another Michael Vick on your hands. I mean, it killed me to not see this guy run the 40. I mean, I don't know why he didn't do it. I don't know, but if I had to guess, that guy's probably running a 4.4 flat 40.
I saw some guesses that he was going to run a 4.37. You know,
if he was going to run sub 4.4 and he knew it, I don't know why he just didn't run it.
He didn't want to be seen as a receiver. I get it. I think this is kind of one of the many things that comes with not having an agent.
You can't control what other people are going to look at you, though. I mean, it's just run the 40.
Yeah, and I think it
showcases a special ability of you. That showcases why you're special.
I don't know. I like him a lot. And so if the Vikings drafted him, I'd be pretty geeked out about it. I just think it's pretty unlikely.
Absolutely.
It's also one of those things where I know my head would disagree with my heart.
Yeah, no, and I understand that. It just, like I said, if he's sitting there at 30 and we trade back, it would kill me. But my other question for you guys, Antonio Callaway, what are your thoughts on this guy?
Just no.
I mean, say that again?
No.
No.
They had a private meeting with him, right? They didn't bring him into the top 30. They had a private meeting, right?
Super special talent. I mean, not super. I mean, he's like a top 40 talent for sure, but he's got some messy off the field stuff.
His issues are pretty bad.
Yeah, it's the Tyreek Hill. Everybody compares him to the Tyreek Hill thing. But yeah, I mean, somebody might pull the trigger in the 4th, 5th round. I can't see him going any higher than like the 4th, 5th round though.
The credit card fraud thing doesn't scare me, but I think the 5 other things do.
Yeah. Like, I'll give you one.
Reef's down with fraud.
Well, it's just like, which one of those things is likely to get you suspended in the NFL?
Like, if
the marijuana, the sexual assault, or the credit card fraud?
Reef, when you have $1,000 charge on your credit card, we'll see how you feel.
Credit card fraud, it doesn't even podium.
right.
Yeah, it just, I think, like I said, it does suck, everything, that he's had going on with him, but you watch his highlights, man, he looks like he'd be pretty explosive, and he would be your key return guy.
Right.
I mean, that would be the best thing, too. It's like, I mean, if he doesn't go and steal whoever's credit card, but, I mean.
What's it always the short, fast guys with issues?
What, like D.D. Westbrook?
Yeah. And also
Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, the other guy.
Percy.
Yeah.
Not aware of those other two names.
It's Fast Napoleon Complex.
Fast Napoleon Complex. This might be even a situation where, Mike Zimmer does his character check, Rick Spielman grades him, they figure out sort of kind of what risk level he is, they put him on the board, and then they ask Ziggy Wolf, and Wolf says no, right? Like, it could just be like that.
We just did all this work, Zig.
Yeah, and So I saw a bunch of reports on him that said basically a lot of teams said absolutely not. Like there was like 2 reports from NFL scouts that were saying that their head guys are saying don't even put him on the board. Like no matter where he falls, they wouldn't touch him. So I mean, that sucks, you know, because the kid, like I said, you watch him. He's an athletic guy, you know. I mean, he can definitely play in the NFL. But you're about to have another Josh Gordon on your hands, you know, who has the talent, but you know, can't fix in between his ears and has problems. And so, I guess my other question too, the reason I bring up Antonio Callaway is this the end of the road for Laquan Treadwell? Can we put a fork in this and just kind of not even worry about it anymore? Like, are we at a point where we can just be like, okay, yeah, it doesn't matter?
I do think it's probably the end for him, but the Vikings are in a really nice position where they don't have to worry about the fact that their first-round pick is, like, busted, just because they've got a fifth-round pick and an undrafted free agent just kind of wilding out. But, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if the Vikings tried to find a bunch of different ways to create competition for that position. I think there's going to be undrafted free agents, maybe. You know, that means, you know, alongside someone like Stacey Coley and Caleb Jones, maybe that also means Antonio Callaway is an undrafted free agent, or this guy I was talking.
You're saying Mobo's not in the running?
Yeah, I know, it's weird. It's weird.
Mobo,
where you at, dude?
You know, Mobo, I don't think he even led his team in receptions in Germany. He was like this Southern Oregon receiver, who the Packers also tried to sign. No, but I mean, like, and there's some guys that you maybe go late in the draft that could go up and get it. I was talking to Luke about this Justin Watson kid from Penn.
Yes.
You know, or you know, I think there's a bunch of different ways. Maybe Antonio Callaway is part of that discussion, but I think mostly as an undrafted free agent, if even that, because he's got a resume of issues, right? Like it's not just the one or two things with the gory details that make you like really step back. It's like the repeated issues. Like he got out of the sexual assault thing by admitting he was too stoned to have sex. Like that's crazy.
Is amazing.
Like yeah. So
epic that it works.
Like one too many rips.
Well, I don't know if that was like the deciding factor, right? But like he said it on the stand, and like somebody was like, "Yeah, okay." Like I don't know.
He's like Adrian Peterson smoking a little weed.
Yeah, right. And
he's being so honest right now. Clearly, that's
yeah, right. It's a good thing. And then somehow after that, he got slapped with marijuana charges. It's so weird. Who could have seen that coming?
Weird.
But yeah, it's just like a lot of things, man.
Medicinal, man.
Right. It's not a big.
It's like Adrian showed up to his court date. You smoke weed? Just a little bit.
So I guess my last question on you guys go. Arden Key, do you think he could fall to 30? If he did fall to 30, and he's sitting there, you banging the table for an Arden Key?
I'm not banging the table for him. I absolutely think he's falling to 30.
He'll for sure be there at 30. I'd be really surprised if he wasn't. He quit football.
Really?
I mean, how do I use my first pick on a guy with so many question marks? Going back to the Antonio Callaway and everybody else, I don't think he's going to fall that far, but he's certainly going to fall the first round. That's how bad it's kind of gotten.
Yeah, and his re-engagement with football, he didn't get back up to weight. Was he like 240?
He was light. Yeah, that Randy Gregory thing.
And then exactly. And then if you're 240 and you run, like a fast 10 split, and you can conceivably see like, hey, if he puts on, because he was a 280 at LSU for a little bit. Right. But if he puts on like 30 pounds,
he's like 6'7". He shouldn't 240. Isn't he 6'7"? Am I getting that wrong?
Yeah, 6'6", 6'7". Yeah, he's a big dude.
Yeah.
6'7". So 240 is actually pretty small. Then I mean, in the grand scheme, 240 is 6'7". That's not.
It's
right.
Thin.
And he played really heavy at LSU. And so. You can see, hey, if he's running a fast 10 split at 240, he puts on 30 pounds, he fits our scheme. He's probably running a pretty fast 10 split for his size at that size. But he ran a pretty slow, like a 4.9, I think, at his pro day, which is like good for defensive end unless you're 240 pounds.
That was today, right?
Yeah.
LSU pro day?
And so if he's not in shape after he has decided to re-engage, then I don't know. Like, that's...
I think it'd be a fun second, third round guy to think about. But yeah he's going to follow the first round, man. It's going to be wild.
Which is weird because I remember right after the actual NFL draft last year, you see a bunch of these, what's going to happen in the 2018 draft? Top five.
Yep. Same with Orlando Brown.
Yeah, right. Yeah. There's some off-field stuff. And then the rumor is, and maybe I'm hearing this wrong, but the rumor is that the coaches at LSU were not super in love with him either, right?
Which says a lot.
Yeah.
For a coach at LSU to not be in love with it. Yeah.
Yeah.
What else you got?
And then I guess my last thing, you actually mentioned it. You're talking about Orlando Brown. I honestly, a lot of times I kind of don't take too much, and I've been a huge advocate that I think the bench press is kind of pointless. But I think what it does show is situations like Orlando Brown. That was pathetic. That was
wild, dude.
That was pretty terrible. And I mean, obviously, I'm a huge advocate. I think squat and deadlift should be in the combine. If we're going to do,
yes,
if we're actually going to test on athletic talent, the bench press is not where we should be at.
I agree.
I do understand that for a lineman, the punch power and chest movement,
right.
I understand that is important. But Orlando Brown weighing 300-something pounds, getting what was it? His pathetic amount of reps.
What was it?
I mean, that's got to be a huge concern.
14 reps at the combine, 18 at his pro day.
Not
and
horrid
by 30%.
Not horrible, but the whole combine as a whole. Yeah, the whole combine as a whole was horrible. I mean,
yeah. So
it's not great. But.
So the thing about it is that he improved on his combine performance with this pro day a lot, and it still looks really bad. It's not like historically bad anymore, right? And like some of these numbers, like the 7.8, 7.3 cone looks bad, but for a 345-pound guy, that's like okay. All the other numbers are just so bad that I just can't conceive of a world where players with that athletic profile do end up making it. So I'm uncomfortable with him. If you got him in the third round, I'd be pretty happy though.
I played D2 football and I played high school football. So
no big deal.
The bench press is not what it does not claim your athleticism. I knew tons of guys who could bench press maybe 225, 10 reps, but could squat dang near 500 pounds, and they were just supreme athletes. So I'm a firm believer that the bench press does not show and tell really anything that we need to see. And I really wish that. I don't know how it's made it this long in the combine. I don't even know why it's relevant.
It is super surprising. I agree with you.
Yeah, I mean, if we're going to test, like I said, the most athletic guys ever knew, they were deadlifting, freaks. These guys could squat a bus, and it's because the football, it's about your core and your lower body. I mean, we don't care how hard you can punch a guy. I mean, that just doesn't really help us, And so,
Steve Smith says otherwise.
Playing those sports, But with linemen, I would say that's the only argument where you could say, okay, well, with offensive linemen, I do see where it matters, offensive and defensive linemen. But other than those positions, I think it's pointless. And for a man to weigh 340 pounds and to be playing at a D1 level and only get 14 reps at 225, that would be a huge concern. But he played well, so you can tell like he's good at his position. But at what point do you say this is too big of a concern because of his bench press that you take him off your first round board?
Well,
do you guys think he comes off the first round for the Vikings?
I know. I know. Arif thinks so. Yeah, right.
Williams,
yeah, I think he falls out of the first round with this.
I mean, we're doing a mock right now. We've done 50 picks, and he's still there.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's just wild to me. I mean, like I said, I get it. Now, I get it because he's an offensive lineman, but that's like. I feel like we would get a better adjustment on him if you're saying, okay, well, he only got 14 reps in the bench press, but he squatted 315 for 10 or 12, and then it's like, okay, so then we're not so worried. I truly feel like it ruined his entire prospect, him as a prospect because of his bench press and other things.
Well, I mean, there's another. So I definitely agree with you that squatting is probably the best kind of lifting that you could do at the combine that would help measure football activity. And I remember the Vikings' former strength and conditioning coach, Ken Salazar, saying the same exact thing. You're right. It allows you to measure drive and core strength in a way that bench press obviously it doesn't. The issue is that in any test where we've got something analogous to explosion, like the vertical or the broad jump, he also posted the worst numbers of all time.
Mm-hmm.
And so like a 19.5 vertical, I've never heard of that. Like I didn't even know that the little bars went that low.
Piece of paper right underneath.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
maybe.
A 6'10 broad jump, you might as well just taking a long walk, right? Like.
I don't know why Lamar Jackson's agent didn't flip the script. Be like, dude, yeah, Lamar, you're supposed to do all this stuff. Orlando Brown, why don't you just take a break?
Yeah, right.
Not run any of this, dude. Don't run.
The thing with the Lamar Jackson too is, I wondered like maybe he didn't run it because he was getting so much flack about going to wide receiver.
Just out of protest.
He didn't want to be more cornholed into that to say, okay, listen, you had such a good combine, you really do need to go to wide receiver.
Well, yeah,
like,
so
maybe that's why I just can't get it.
Well, so his original plan was he was going to run the 40 at the combine, and then he was also going to run the 40 at the pro day. Those were in his original plans. He didn't tell them beforehand that he wasn't going to run the 40, but then he goes through this presser. Like you said, a bunch of people bring up this wide receiver thing. And I wouldn't be surprised if it was just kind of a reaction to that, which, maybe that doesn't speak well to, his quarterbacking poise or whatever.
Yeah.
But, and he said he was going to run the 40 at the pro day, and then he doesn't. I don't know.
Anytime you think there's a possibility you can run sub 4.4, you just do it because that's special.
Yeah,
that's special.
Yeah,
that's an elite group of athletes, and if you can even if you don't end up running the sub 4.4, you're a 4.44 guy or 4.45, whatever, you still go do it. I think that would have helped him a lot. I really do, but I still think he's going to go top 15.
And that's what's crazy is I keep seeing all these different reports saying that he could slip to the second round, he could go top 10. Like, if it's me, I'm taking Lamar Jackson over Baker Mayfield. That's how much I like Lamar Jackson.
Wow.
I mean, that
It's come from
opinion is not
Oklahoma homer.
Obviously, it's not accredited. It has no validation. It's just I like the guy. You know, as much as I'm not a huge Baker Mayfield guy, so that doesn't really speak much on how good Baker is compared to Lamar. But I think Lamar, I think Baker's more pro-ready, and I think Lamar could eventually in 3 years be better. So you're drafting for potential over what you see and what you get. I truly don't think Baker's going to do much in the NFL. I mean,
he could run out of magic. He could run out of magic, but I would bet on that magic for now. Just the intangibles are off the chart. The intangibles, the leadership stuff, the rah-rah stuff, the kind of corny stuff. Yeah, it's just you buy into it, man. You want to buy into it. For me, I just want to buy into it, and it could the magic could run out. He could take a lick his rookie season and go, "Whoa, dude, I don't know if I can play at the same level, the same way I used to in college. Yeah, I don't know if I can play the same way I did in college now anymore because I'm just going to get myself killed. So we'll see.
And I feel like he's kind of the opposite spectrum of a Case Keenum in the sense of like you're rooting for him because he's got the spunk and he's trash talking. You're rooting for Case Keenum because he's such a good guy. But it's like, at what point do we think this was magic or is this skill?
Right.
Because that's where we were at with Case Keenum was this is this really how good you are or did you just have a good year?
Right.
What was this? And that's where I kind of stand with Baker Mayfield. Lamar Jackson is just, I watched the man play. I go to A&M. Our quarterbacks are just terrible, so I watch other teams.
Hey, don't speak ill of Kenny Trill like that.
Kenny Trill. Boy, we let him walk. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Don't want to talk about it. Us in our bright minds, decided to pay our head coach a lot of money. Tuition's great.
Tuition's great.
Like I love they put it in they emailed us about it and it was kind of like a possibility of changes. I was like, yeah, I know, motherfuckers, I know what possibility changes. Y'all up my tuition by $1,000. Like. I hope I made the right move.
All right, last one here for you, Wyatt, and then I'll let you go here. We got to finish this second round of this mock draft. Who, after our discussion, do you think is drafted first? Orlando Brown, the tackle from Oklahoma, or Arden Key, the edge rusher from LSU?
Arden Key.
Yeah. Could be.
I think Orlando Browns, if we're talking first round, I think Orlando Browns, his draft stock was hurt so bad by that combine that Arden Key, you see, like, he's just a genetic freak, 6'7". It's like, and that's why I see Mike Zimmer Mike Zimmer likes big guys, I think that's what he was enamored with Anthony Barr. And, if you were to see Anthony Barr and Arden Key next to each other, just going after the quarterback, that'd be a sight to see. I'd love that.
I'm with you.
Be all about it.
I'm with you.
Hey, thanks for calling in, Wyatt.
Appreciate it, man.
Yeah, man. I'll talk to you later.
Okay.
Bye-bye. All right. No more calls. Hammering through this.
Okay, ready?
52.
Ravens. All right. I know they signed Crabtree and John Brown, but guess what? Their third guy is Chris Moore, and they don't even have a fourth or fifth.
They got RG3 to
I'm
throw
going.
him.
I'm going James Washington. Get a third one. Let's go.
James Washington.
Bills, a reef. Punch it. Who'd they grab first? They
got a quarterback, man.
They got Lamar. The aforementioned Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
And Leighton Vander Esch. Nice.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad. Yeah, for them, I'm not entirely sure. Obviously, they got Tre'Davious White back there. They got Vontae Davis a little bit. For me, a safety makes a ton of sense. I don't know if I love any of these safeties. Ronnie Harrison's gone.
Yeah.
Let's see. They need a tackle.
Quentin Meeks would be fun. A second corner and can play some safety. Is there another corner? Oh, Carlton Davis would be fun.
You know what they need? They need a guard. They got like Vlad Dukas. That's also he's still in the NFL, by the way, guys.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Dukas.
Dukas me.
Every single time his name came up.
Such nerds. I think Austin Corbett's still around, right? Let's grab him.
Oh yeah. Good pick.
Son of a. All right. 54 Chiefs also in the guard market. They need a little bit of help because they lost Zach Fulton. Corbett was going to be my guy, but what can you do? Give me some Braden Smith.
That makes sense.
Pride of Auburn. Come on down. 55 Luke Duke. Back up with the
Carolina Panthers. Let's go Orlando Brown. This is as far as he falls.
Stopping the slide. Big man.
Yep. Big dude.
Yeah.
Perfect for Cam. Big dude.
All right. 56 a reefer. Back up with the Bills.
Yeah, I know. God.
Oh, another Bills pick?
Yeah. Kyle Williams is about to retire. They traded around Marcel Darius.
Yeah, any D-line you can get. Any edge, D-line, anything.
I'm deciding between Andrew Brown and Nathan Shepard.
I think I took
Shepard's already gone.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I'm so bad at this. Well, let's go with Andrew Brown.
Boom.
Andrew Brown, come on down. What is up?
I didn't make this mistake for like the past 3 drafts.
No, you were fine. Yeah, you've been pretty bad though today.
Yeah. It was pretty awful.
Yeah, not great, but.
All right, so Tennessee is up. Let's see who they get in the first round. It's a good-looking question. They got Deron Payne in the first round. The tight end can't play forever. Like, what's his name? He's always fantasy relevant.
Oh, Barnage.
No. Come on.
No.
Ben Watson?
No, the guy who played in San Francisco for a number of years.
Vernon Davis?
DW.
Oh, Delaney Walker.
Yeah, him.
Barnage is Browns, isn't he?
Yeah.
Barnage?
Was.
Barnage.
John DiFilippo made him.
You just remember that from our fantasy pod we did like 3 years ago, dude.
I do. Gary Barnage.
The only name you remember from the fantasy pod.
Give me some Hayden Hurst, South Carolina.
Boom. Falcons. I struggle with the Falcons, man. What do they need? How about Ogbo? Edge?
Oh, that makes sense.
Let's go Ogbo.
Yeah. This should be fun.
Ogbo. How do you pronounce it?
Ogbonio Okoronkwo.
All right, what's his name?
Just type in
Ogbonio
Okoronkwo.
Nobody knows. Please don't draft him. Please, Vikings, don't draft him.
Great
Great player, but can't pronounce
59, Arif.
Let's see, man. They got a lot going on. They've had who did they draft? They got Roquan? No, they got Tremaine Edmonds.
Yep.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'd probably want a receiver to help them out. I've got a good chunk of receivers to choose from: Dante Pettis, Christian Kirk, Michael Gallup, Deion Kane, maybe.
Fun, yeah.
Kirk would be a lot of fun. I think Dante Pettis is who I'm going to pick for them.
All right, Dante Pettis, Pride of Washington. Sniped. That's how we roll. Steelers, I'm going to keep it simple. A little bit of offensive line action. A little Brian O'Neill, stay in town.
Nice.
Don't even have to change your sublet. There we go. 29, Tommy
Guns. Let's go. Go get your guy.
Stan Hubbard. Just kidding.
Sam
That's not
Sam Hubbard.
What do they need?
Can you at least pronounce the name? Did you write it wrong on the card? Or did you...
I want a media mogul.
Vontae
Or is there really a
no
prospect named Stan Hubbard that you're drafting?
What do they need outside of receivers? I already took a receiver.
Dude, no, this is on you, dude.
All right, I'm taking Sam Hubbard. That's my guy.
Nice.
Sam Hubbard. Joining the 9 defensive line.
Good pick.
Edge guys.
They need some depth.
They need depth. You can never have enough depth. All right, Vikes.
Consensus.
Ooh, so Austin Corbett. So we took Isaiah Wynn. Great pick.
Mm-hmm.
The 2D tackles. Is Deshaun Hand still there?
Yeah.
Hand is still available.
Maybe Lorenzo Carter. Maybe
Yeah, you could get Carter.
Carlton Davis.
Carlton Davis is available. Duke Dawson, who's a really good fit in the slot, is potentially available.
Quentin Meeks. Quentin Meeks would be fun. Arden Key.
Well, if they're going to take an athletic edge player, what about Josh Sweat?
Let's go Josh Sweat. Let's go Josh Sweat, dude. I like Josh Sweat.
You're going to make me sweat. Josh Sweat, the pride of Florida State. Come on.
Moving
down.
Everson inside a little bit. Give Sheldon a breather.
Yeah.
I'll take that all day long. Wrapping up, last 2 picks, 63, Luke, Patriots.
Okay,
Back
Patriots.
up again.
Jair Alexander, Marcus Davenport, DJ Moore, killing this draft right now. How about
What about Fred Warner? NDT scouting
Fred
loved him.
Warner?
Right?
Let's go. What do you think? Lorenzo Carter, Fred Warner, or Chukwuma Okofor?
Well, I think Chukwuma Okorafor makes a lot of sense. I think Fred Warner plays the role that they traded away when they traded away Jamie Collins. I think they've got, with Donta Hightower, I think they've got what they might get in Lorenzo Carter if they moved him off the ball.
Yeah.
And I think they might not go with too many edge players all at once. So I would probably go with Fred Warner.
Let's go
I
Warner.
could see Okorafor
Sold.
too, though. Okay.
Sold.
Fred.
I should have took Carlton Davis.
They already drafted a corner, right? So.
Yeah. True. All right, Browns. Wrap it up.
Oh, is this
Ronald
me?
Jones,
Oh,
Josh Rosen, Bradley Chubb, Maurice Hurst.
Oh, right. They also got Hurst. Jesus.
Get Carlton Davis.
Who?
Carlton Davis.
I've never heard of him.
Never heard of her.
MJ Stewart, maybe.
Chukwuma?
I think you get Orlando Brown.
Chukwuma, they need O-line, dude. They need a tackle.
They do need offensive line. What about Jamarco Jones?
Yeah, I'm fine there.
No, let's give him Carlton Davis.
Love it.
Sorry.
Love it.
Sorry, gone.
What?
Yeah, 50.
Already 5 times at least
Wait,
in
no.
this podcast.
No, but this is Luke's fault because he kept on pressuring me to take him.
Damn it,
I
Luke.
took him for the Cowboys. Should have realized that.
That's why
But you did take him. Okay.
Right, yeah.
Okay.
Man, what? Screw it. Alex Kappa.
Ooh.
Alex.
Need a tackle, baby.
Pride of Humboldt State.
Yep.
Coming
in
on down.
Pennsylvania, California.
And that wraps it up. So, end up with Josh Sweat in the second round. Also, Isaiah Wynn, first round. Pretty decent.
Pretty good. I like that, dude. That's fun.
Yeah.
We got Isaiah Wynn.
Screw the rest of the draft.
You
We're out.
guys.
Just say deuces.
Got Brandon Sheriff at the end of round 1.
Yeah. Tom, how'd you think you did for the Jaguars?
I think I did a great job. The Jags are in great shape this year.
With Stan Hubbard.
Stan Hubbard. Yes.
From Arkansas State. Stan Hubbard.
That guy.
I don't need the playbook. What playbook? I don't need it.
What are you guys working on this week?
Vids all day, every day. Vids. Probably do another mock draft here actually pretty quick.
And behind the scenes analytics stuff for the draft stuff. I haven't written anything
so
for
much,
like a
you
week.
guys,
'cause
so
I've been
much
doing all this
stuff,
work.
so much cool.
We'll have a great
stuff.
guide. It'll be
Our
really
guide's
fun
gonna
stuff.
be
You should-
kick-ass, dude.
Yeah, and then we're merchandising, baby.
And then we're merchandising.
More
Go get your
information
guys, baby.
later, but it'll be fun. Go
Yep.
get your guys. Go
Yep.
get your shirts.
That's right.
Go get your damn shirts.
And by the way, you buy that?
Take
Write it
that.
off.
Write it off.
Tom, what else is going on at
A
zonecoverage.com?
lot of Wolf stuff. They're down to the wire. Not sure where they're going to end up in the playoffs. We got.
Who do they want to play in the playoffs?
We were talking about this. I think Portland's not a terrible deal. I think they can beat Oklahoma City. They're 3-1 against
I
them.
wouldn't want
But
that.
yeah, that's tough. But
As an outside
Miller-
fan, I just like.
And
I
then
want OKC.
an interesting series. Will not win it, but Golden State, they would have Butler. Golden State, no Curry. Interesting.
Curry's out that long.
He will be out in the first round. He will be back in the second.
Dude
What a Todd.
says. Show's available on iTunes, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, zonecoverage.com/machine. But for Luke, Arif, and Tom, I'm Andy Singh and Young Zanara. Bye-bye. That's number 1.